Her child trauma began when she left for work, so she fought back, exposed family abuse, and destroyed their lives for good. The residential neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio was embraced by the gentle spring breeze of April. Olivia Morrison was taking shopping bags out of her car trunk while holding her cell phone between her shoulder and cheek. "That's right, Director Benson. I'll definitely make next week's presentation in Chicago a success." She hung up and let out a sigh. As a sales manager for a pharmaceutical company, her days were always busy. When Olivia opened the front door, her 7-year-old daughter Lily came rushing out from the hallway. "Mommy, you're home." Lily's small body ran toward her, and Olivia instinctively set her shopping bags on the floor to embrace her daughter. Lily's chestnut hair looked just like her ex-husband Charles. When she lost him in a car accident 3 years ago, Olivia became a widow and had resolved to raise Lily, who was 4 at the time, on her own. "Lily, did you finish your homework?" "Yes, all of it." "Norman checked it for me." Hearing Lily's words, a smile spread across Olivia's face. Norman Morrison, her husband of 1 year. They had met through work as he was an accountant at one of her pharmaceutical company's clients. He was a completely different type of man from Charles, but she was drawn to his sincerity and kindness toward Lily. Fortunately, Lily had quickly taken to Norman as well. Norman poked his head out from the kitchen. He was a slender man with an intellectual impression. Seeing him wearing an apron felt homey and warmed Olivia's heart. "Welcome home." "I was just preparing dinner." Olivia approached him and gave him a light kiss. "Thank you. You're such a big help." While gathered around the dinner table, Olivia brought up an important topic. "Actually, I need to go on a business trip to Chicago next week for 3 days." Lily's face clouded. "Mommy, don't go." Olivia took her daughter's hand. "It'll be fine. It's a short trip and I'll be back quickly. And you know what?" She continued brightly. "You'll be staying at Grandma's house with Aunt Vanessa." Lily's face brightened a bit. Eleanor Carter was Olivia's mother, who adored her granddaughter, Lily. She lived with Olivia's sister, Vanessa, and her 5-year-old son, Ethan. Vanessa was a single mother who had moved back to her mother's house after her divorce. "Can I play with Ethan?" Lily asked. "Of course. Grandma is looking forward to it too." Norman had been eating quietly, but now he spoke up. "I have work, so I can't come every day, but I'll come visit you, Lily." "Really? Do you promise?" Lily asked, her eyes shining. "I promise, Princess." Norman winked. On the day of the trip, Olivia loaded Lily's luggage into the car. Norman was accompanying them and would drive Lily to Eleanor's house. Lily sat next to Norman, hugging her favorite stuffed animal. Norman occasionally stroked her hair gently. Seeing this scene, Olivia felt confident she had made the right decision to marry him. When they arrived at Eleanor's house, Eleanor and Vanessa were waiting at the entrance. Eleanor's silver hair was perfectly styled as always, making her look younger than her actual age. Vanessa was dressed casually in jeans, giving off a free-spirited vibe in contrast to Olivia. "Grandma!" Lily jumped out of the car and hugged Eleanor. "Lily, you've grown so much." Eleanor embraced her granddaughter. "Come on in. I've baked some delicious cookies." Olivia felt no anxiety about leaving her daughter in her mother's care. Eleanor had been a strict mother, but she was gentle with her grandchildren and treasured Lily. "Mom, please take good care of her," Olivia said as she carried the luggage into the house. "Don't worry, we'll look after her." Eleanor placed her hand on her granddaughter's shoulder. "You focus on your work," Vanessa took Lily's hand. "Lily, Ethan is playing upstairs. Want to go see him?" Lily nodded happily, and the two disappeared into the house. Olivia turned to Norman. "I have to go. It'll take time to get to the airport." "All right." "Be careful." Norman kissed her. "I have some important business too. But as promised, I'll come visit Lily." Olivia hugged Lily one more time and whispered in her ear, "I'll be back in 3 days. Be a good girl until then." "Okay." "Yes, Mommy." Lily nodded slightly. As Olivia got into the car, she waved through the window. Lily, Eleanor, and Norman stood at the entrance, seeing her off. She departed with peace of mind. The Chicago business trip was harder than Olivia had anticipated. Every time she returned to her hotel room, she called Lily. During the first 2 days, Lily cheerfully answered the phone, happily talking about playing with Ethan and the chocolate cake Eleanor had made. However, on the third night, Eleanor answered the phone and said, "Lily is already asleep." It felt a bit unnatural, but Olivia thought her daughter must be tired and didn't pursue it further. The presentation was a success, and after receiving high praise from her company, Olivia headed back to Columbus in high spirits. She arrived at Eleanor's house at 3 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. "I'm home, Lily. Mommy's back." As she opened the door, Eleanor came out from the kitchen. Her expression had a shadow of something difficult to say. "Welcome back, Olivia. Lily seems to be a bit under the weather." "What? A cold?" Olivia asked as she removed her shoes. "No, she doesn't have a fever. It's just that she's barely spoken since yesterday." Olivia frowned. "What do you mean?" "Well, maybe she's just tired. Children go through phases like this sometimes." Eleanor's voice was light, suggesting there was nothing to worry about. Olivia headed to the living room. Lily was sitting on the sofa watching television. However, her eyes seemed to be looking at the screen without really seeing it. "Lily, Mommy's back." Lily slowly raised her face but didn't smile. Feeling something was off, Olivia approached her daughter and stroked her hair. "Are you okay? Did you have fun with Grandma and Aunt Vanessa?" Lily remained silent and shook her head slightly. "What's wrong? Are you feeling sick?" Her daughter shook her head again. Olivia placed her hand on Lily's forehead, but there was no fever. "Did something happen? Did you fight with someone?" This time, there was no response. Lily just stared at her hands in her lap. Olivia looked at her mother. "Where's Vanessa?" "She went grocery shopping." "She should be back soon," Eleanor answered matter-of-factly. "Ethan is at a friend's house." "Did Norman come to see Lily?" "Yes, once. But he didn't stay long." While packing Lily's things, Olivia worried about her daughter's behavior. Her usually energetic and talkative daughter had become so silent. However, Eleanor dismissed Olivia's concerns, saying, "Children are fickle." When they got into the car, Lily didn't hug Eleanor or Vanessa, just waved her hands slightly. "Goodbye, Lily. Let's see each other again soon," Eleanor said. Vanessa lightly patted Lily's head. "Bye-bye, Lily." Lily got into the car without looking at them, remaining silent. During the drive home, Olivia tried talking to her several times, but Lily just stared out the window without saying a word. When they arrived home, Norman greeted them at the entrance. "Welcome back. How was the presentation?" "It went well," Olivia answered briefly, looking at Lily. "But I'm worried about Lily." Norman approached Lily and knelt down to her eye level. "Hey, princess. How are you?" As soon as Lily saw Norman, she suddenly backed away. Then, as if avoiding his presence, she hid behind Olivia. "Lily." Olivia looked at her daughter in surprise. Lily had never avoided Norman before. In fact, she had been fond of him. "What's wrong?" Norman also looked confused. "I don't know. Mom said she's barely spoken since yesterday. Isn't it just attention-seeking?" Norman stood up and shrugged. "She probably missed you while you were gone." Olivia frowned. Her daughter's behavior didn't seem like mere attention-seeking. There was something like fear in her eyes. "Lily, are you hungry? Would you like something to eat?" Lily nodded slightly, but still didn't speak. That night, Lily fell asleep without saying a word. Olivia sat beside her daughter's bed, listening to her breathing and trying to make sense of the situation. The next morning, nothing had changed. Lily only shook her head or nodded, refusing to speak. She refused to go to school, so Olivia took the day off work to stay home with her daughter. Before leaving for work, Norman said, "You're overthinking this. Kids sometimes act like this to get attention," and left the house. But anxiety was spreading in Olivia's chest. By the weekend, Lily's condition hadn't improved. Even when Olivia asked, "What's wrong? Did someone do something to you?" Lily just silently shook her head. When Norman approached, Lily would leave the room or hide behind Olivia. This behavior started to irritate Norman, who complained, "I haven't done anything wrong." On Monday, Olivia called the pediatrician. and made an emergency appointment. The doctor carefully examined Lily and found no physical problems, but concerned about her mental state, referred her to Dr. Finch, a child psychiatrist. It might be selective mutism. It can be triggered by some kind of psychological trauma, the doctor explained. The first appointment with Dr. Finch was set for the next day. Olivia explained the situation in detail to her husband. A psychiatrist? Is that really necessary? Norman frowned. You're overthinking this. Kids sometimes act strangely. She hasn't spoken for a week, Norman. Olivia's voice was strong and determined. Something must have happened. As her mother, I can't ignore this. Norman closed his mouth and furrowed his brow. Fine. I'll follow your judgment. That night, after Lily fell asleep, Olivia cried in bed. She was desperately trying to figure out what had happened to her daughter and how she could help her. Norman was breathing heavily beside her, but even his presence felt distant to Olivia. The next day, in Dr. Finch's office, Lily maintained her silence, even to the doctor's questions. However, when the doctor gave her paper and colored pencils, Lily immediately began drawing. It seemed like a kind of release. Let's try art therapy, Dr. Finch explained to Olivia. Sometimes children express in drawings what they cannot express in words. This will be the first step in building trust with her. After returning home, Olivia prepared paper and colored pencils for Lily. Lily silently began to draw. Watching her, Olivia noticed that her small lips sometimes trembled. She seemed scared, remembering something. The second appointment with Dr. Finch was set for Thursday afternoon. Olivia accompanied Lily and sat nervously in the waiting room. Lily quietly played with a doll on her lap. Her daughter hadn't spoken a word for almost a week. Olivia couldn't sleep at night due to this situation. Her cheeks were gaunt, and she had dark circles under her eyes. Mrs. Morrison, please come in. A nurse guided them to the examination room. Dr. Finch was a woman in her mid-50s with a kind smile and keen observational eyes. She gave Lily colored pencils and paper and gently said, "Would you like to draw something you like?" Lily silently nodded and began drawing. Let's talk with your mother. The doctor turned to Olivia. How is she at home? Olivia shrugged. No change. She still won't speak and avoids my husband. She has an appetite but rarely smiles. And school. I've kept her home. It doesn't seem right to send her like this. Dr. Finch nodded understandingly. That's the right decision. Lily needs a safe environment and support right now. The doctor continued in a low voice. After our last session, I analyzed several drawings that Lily made, and I noticed the same pattern appearing repeatedly. Olivia leaned forward tensely. What do you mean? Just a moment, please. Dr. Finch stood up and took some papers from a nearby file cabinet. Lily was still silently drawing, but she looked up for a moment when she noticed the doctor's movement. There was fear in her eyes. Mrs. Morrison, could you come over here? The doctor invited Olivia to the corner of the room. They spoke at a distance where Lily couldn't hear. There's a drawing that Lily keeps repeating. Dr. Finch unfolded a paper and showed it to Olivia. Would you like to see this? Looking at the drawing, Olivia at first couldn't understand what was depicted. It was a child's unskilled hand, but gradually the content became visible. A small girl hiding in what looked like a house hallway, and the backs of two adults entering a bedroom. In the corner of the picture, another scene was drawn smaller, one of the adults covering the small girl's mouth. This is... Olivia's voice trembled. Lily drew almost the same picture during yesterday's session. And today as well, the doctor said quietly. Two adults always appear in her drawings. One is always a man, and the other is a woman. Olivia looked at the drawing more carefully. The adults' backs were blurry, but one of the men looked like Norman. And the woman, Olivia felt her chest tighten. Long hair and a distinctive posture. It looked very much like Vanessa. Furthermore, Dr. Finch took out another paper. As part of our standard examination procedure, we also conducted a physical examination of Lily. As you've approved. Olivia nodded silently. She was too tense to speak. Upon closer examination, we found mild bruises on Lily's arms and back. They're not recent, but appear to be from about a week ago. A week ago, Olivia whispered. That coincided with the period when she was on her business trip. This alone doesn't tell us much. The doctor chose her words carefully. But considering Lily's behavioral changes, the content of her drawings, and the physical marks, it's highly likely that some event caused her severe stress. Olivia looked at the drawing again, this time even more carefully. Looking closely at the small scene in the corner, something appeared to be stuck to the girl's mouth. Some kind of tape, perhaps. What should I? Olivia's words were shaking. Dr. Finch gently placed her hand on Olivia's shoulder. It's important to continue showing Lily that you are on her side, and she took a deep breath. In situations like this, I have an obligation to report to Child Protective Services. They will send a team of specialists to talk carefully with Lily. Tears welled up in Olivia's eyes. She looked at Lily. Her daughter was now drawing another picture. This time it was a girl looking out the window. She looked sad. I will report this to the police myself, Olivia said in a trembling voice. The doctor quietly nodded. Lily's safety is the top priority. I recommend that you separate from your husband from today until the investigation is complete. Olivia took her cell phone from her bag. Her hands were shaking. She regretted not trusting her intuition. When she noticed her daughter's changes, she should have dug deeper. She dialed 911. When the operator said, "Emergency services, what's your situation?" Olivia stumbled over her words. My daughter. Her voice was choked with tears. My husband and sister abused my daughter, and overwhelming emotions poured out. Dr. Finch took the phone from Olivia and calmly explained the situation. The police promised to arrive at the clinic within 30 minutes. Additionally, a special investigator from Child Protective Services would be dispatched. Olivia moved next to Lily. Lily, listen. She held her daughter's small hand. Mommy is on your side. No matter what happens, I'll protect you always. Lily looked up from her drawing and stared at her mother. Her eyes were mixed with fear and hope. And for the first time in almost a week, her lips moved. It was a faint voice, but Olivia heard it. I'm scared, Mommy. Olivia embraced her daughter. It's okay. You don't have to be scared anymore. Mommy will protect you. When the police arrived, Olivia submitted Lily's drawings as evidence. 2 female police officers and 1 child psychology specialist would talk to Lily in a separate room. Young lady, may we talk to you for a bit? The specialist gently asked. Lily looked at her mother. Olivia nodded encouragingly. It's okay. These people are here to help you. Lily nodded slightly and left the room with the specialist and the officers. As Olivia watched her small back disappear, she steeled herself for the long battle ahead. The police questioning took place in a special room at the Child Consultation Center. The walls were painted in soft colors with toys and books placed around, but they couldn't alleviate the tension. Lily was talking with child psychology specialist Sarah Johnson and experienced female detective Lauren Davis. Olivia was waiting in the adjacent room and was permitted to observe through a one-way mirror. At first, Lily remained silent. Sarah patiently continued the conversation using Lily's drawings. Can you tell me about this drawing? Sarah pointed to the picture of a girl hiding in a hallway. After a long silence, Lily answered in a small voice. Me. Were you hiding? Lily nodded. Who are you hiding from? Lily bit her lip. Fear appeared in her eyes again. Lily, Sarah said gently. Everyone here is here to protect you. If you tell us what happened, we can help you. With trembling hands, Lily pointed to the 2 adults in the drawing. Daddy and Aunt Vanessa. Olivia froze behind the one-way mirror. It was the moment her worst fears were confirmed. What were they doing? Sarah's voice was calm. Strange things, Lily said, on the bed. Over the next 30 minutes, Lily spoke fragmentarily but clearly about what she had witnessed. During Olivia's business trip, Norman had visited Eleanor's house late at night. Lily had gotten up to use the bathroom and saw Norman and Vanessa secretly talking in the hallway. They went into the guest room. Driven by curiosity, Lily peeked through the door crack. Did Grandma know? The detective asked. Lily shrugged. I don't know. But in the morning, Grandma didn't say anything. What Lily feared most was when she was caught by Norman and Vanessa as she tried to tell what she had seen. They threatened her, saying, "This is an adult secret." When Lily started crying, Norman put tape over her mouth and grabbed her arms, shaking her hard. This was the cause of the bruises on her arms. "If you tell, we'll hurt Mommy," Norman had threatened. After the testimony, Olivia was called into the room to embrace her daughter. She cried and apologized repeatedly to Lily. "I'm sorry I didn't notice. I couldn't protect you." That night, Olivia and Lily stayed at a hotel arranged by the police. Norman had been called to the police station for questioning. The next morning, Detective Davis visited the hotel and reported on the investigation's progress. First, records from Vanessa's cell phone revealed hundreds of messages exchanged between her and Norman. The relationship seemed to have continued since before Olivia and Norman's marriage. "So, they were involved even before I married him?" Olivia asked in disbelief. "It appears so," the detective quietly answered. "From the content of the messages, it's possible that Norman chose to marry you for financial reasons." Olivia felt her chest tighten. She held a high position at the pharmaceutical company with a stable income. Meanwhile, Norman's accounting firm was small, and his income was less than half of hers. "What about Eleanor?" Olivia asked in a trembling voice. She is also being questioned. At this point, she claims she didn't know about their relationship, but evidence suggests she may have been partially aware. But she must have noticed that Lily changed. Why didn't she say anything? The detective sighed. She says she thought children sometimes behave strangely. However, she was choosing her words. According to Lily's testimony, Eleanor told her not to get involved in adult matters. Olivia's expression hardened. She remembered her mother's words, "Children are fickle." Had Eleanor been hiding something at that time? A few days later, Child Protective Services investigator Judith Clark met with Olivia. "In the current situation, I strongly recommend that you take sole custody of Lily," she said. "Regarding Norman Morrison, he is likely to be charged with child abuse and intimidation. Vanessa Carter will also likely be charged as an accomplice." Olivia nodded silently. She had already contacted a divorce lawyer. "Going forward," Judith continued, "Lily will need to continue specialized counseling. Her safety and recovery are the top priorities." "Of course," Olivia said. "I'll do anything. Just..." She choked on her words. "Why didn't I notice that those two..." Judith gently reached out. "Don't blame yourself. Perpetrators are skilled at hiding. Betrayal from those you trust is especially hard to imagine." A month later, the initial trial for Norman and Vanessa was held in court. Both denied the charges, claiming it was discipline and that the child misunderstood an adult issue. However, Lily's drawings, physical evidence, and expert testimony were compelling. During the trial, Olivia couldn't directly look at Norman and Vanessa. She had loved and trusted these two people, especially Norman, whom she thought would give her security and stability after Charles's death. The pain of that illusion crumbling was indescribable. "Mrs. Morrison, you experienced a double betrayal," the judge said, "but your courage and determination saved your daughter." The court granted Olivia full custody and denied Norman any visitation rights. Norman was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment for child abuse and intimidation. Vanessa received a suspended sentence and was ordered to perform community service. For Eleanor, charges were not filed due to insufficient evidence, but her visitation with Lily was only permitted under court supervision. As she left the courtroom, Olivia firmly held Lily's hand. "This is just the real beginning," she told her daughter. "Let's start a new life, just the two of us." Lily smiled slightly. It was weak, but to Olivia, it was a ray of hope. 3 months later, Olivia had submitted a transfer request to her company boss. "I need a fresh start," she explained. Fortunately, considering her performance and situation, a transfer to the San Diego branch on the West Coast was approved. "Lily, what do you think? Living in a city where we can see the ocean?" Olivia asked her daughter the night she received the transfer news. "Ocean sounds nice. Lily smiled slightly. She wasn't as active as before, but she was gradually recovering her words. On moving day, Olivia said goodbye to the old house. There were happy memories here, but now it was marked with memories of pain and betrayal. While packing, she donated all of Norman's belongings. She also disposed of photos with him. Only one family photo from their wedding day remained, tucked away in a drawer, for when Lily grew up and asked. The new life in San Diego healed them more than imagined. The scent of the sea and the wind, the mild climate, and an environment where no one knew their past. It was a fitting place for a new beginning. Lily began attending a local elementary school and continued sessions twice a week with child psychology specialist Gina Rodriguez. She's recovering bit by bit, Gina reported to Olivia. Drawing has become her way of expression, and it plays an important role in her healing process. Olivia herself joined a mother's support group and confronted her feelings of self-blame. I kept thinking it was my fault for not protecting my daughter, Olivia confessed within the group. Group leader Martha quietly placed her hand on her shoulder. You are a victim, and now your daughter's greatest protector. Instead of blaming yourself, find hope in the days ahead. Those words became a turning point in Olivia's heart. One day, a letter arrived from Eleanor. It contained words of apology and a wish to meet just once. Olivia hesitated, but after consulting with the psychological counselor and respecting Lily's opinion, allowed a short meeting in a supervised environment. At the meeting place, Eleanor, now old and frail, offered sincere apologies to her granddaughter and daughter. Your happiness is the best atonement, she said tearfully. Time passed, and 2 years after the trial, Lily won a school art contest. Her drawing was a seaside scene painted in bright colors with two figures standing hand in hand. This is me and Mommy, Lily explained proudly. Olivia embraced her daughter with emotion. She herself had changed. She had joined a support organization for child abuse survivors and their families, and eventually started her own blog, Bonds of Truth, to help parents and children in similar situations. One night before bed, Lily asked her mother, Mommy, what is a real family? Grandma and Aunt Vanessa and Daddy were family too. But why did they hurt us? Stroking her daughter's hair gently, Olivia answered, A real family isn't just about blood ties. It's about protecting each other, valuing truth, and never hurting one another. Love and respect are what make a real family. Then, we're a real family. Lily smiled, and Olivia nodded with a smile. Yes, forever. In the hallway of their new home hung Lily's drawing, a mother and daughter standing hand in hand, smiling under the bright sun. It was the very image of the two of them overcoming the dark shadows of the past and walking toward the light.